World Archery's glaring spotlight focused on Utah in a hot week of competition in the USA here in Salt Lake City. Sharpshooters came from across the globe to toil in the scorching desert sun, all concentrating on each and every arrow, trying not to look ahead to the next match, the next opponent. But deep down inside, we all know they all harbored hopes of making it to a medal match, dreamed of taking their place on the podium here at Stage 3 of the 2017 Hyundai Archery World Cup Tour. Oh, you know, it seems just like yesterday the outdoor season opened amidst the towering skyscrapers of Shanghai, and now World Archery's best, the very best, are shooting in the shadows of the towering Rocky Mountains in the Intermountain West of the USA. Whatever time of day it might be, wherever you might be in this world, ni hao, hola, bonjour, merhaba, konnichiwa, guten tag, annyeonghaseyo, privyet, shalom, dzień dobry, buongiorno, good day, mates, and welcome, as they say in Canada, to this third stop on Hyundai's 2017 Outdoor World Cup Tour, stretching from east to west, spring through summer and into the fall, leading up to the World Cup final in Rome. Along with the pride of Canada, our expert commentator, Crispin Duenas, I'm Carl Larkey, and we thank you for joining us for this first Outdoor World Cup event in Utah and the United States since 2012, and a toasty 32 degrees Celsius. Welcome to Utah, Crispin.
Competition for you, including the Recurve mixed team matches, the Recurve mixed team bronze, the mixed team gold, and then
mic check 1 2.
There we go. Now
we
we found you. We got your headset, and now we've got you the lineup for today. That's what we're going to be seeing today, the mixed team competition. Mixed team bronze and gold, and then the women's bronze and gold, the men's bronze and gold. And here's how they line up for the Recurve mixed team competition this afternoon. Here's how we got to the Final Four, whittled the field down to the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and we'll have Mexico and USA in the bronze, Korea and Chinese Taipei, another marquee matchup in the gold medal match. Those two great nations from the Far East going at it one more time.
Yeah, I was watching some of the matches this morning, and we were seeing a lot of I would call it erratic shooting on the field of play, for lack of a better term, because I talked to some of the archers afterwards. I talked to Luis Alvarez from Mexico, and I asked him, like, you know, how was the field? What was it like? And he said that it was a lot more confusing than it looks. So I think for an archer's perspective, and from what we can see on the TV, the archers are standing on the shooting line beside a building, and the targets are out in the open. So there's a lot of wind that the archers cannot feel. They can only see and make a visual judgment on that call. But right now, here we go with the Recurve bronze medal. It's a battle of the Americas. We have Mexico versus United States of America, with all very, very good and experienced shooters coming onto the field of play.
Mexico is out first. Alejandro Valencia and Juan René Serrano, they both shot this morning in the team competition. Mexico getting this far by defeating Vietnam 6-0 in the quarterfinals, and then falling in a shoot-off to Korea 5-4. So they gave Korea a real run for the money before finally falling in the shoot-off. So Juan René Serrano and Alejandro Valencia. And they will take on the team from the host nation, the United States of America. Mackenzie Brown and Brady Ellison out of the tunnel. These two teamed up to defeat Italy in the quarterfinals 5-1, and then fell to Chinese Taipei by the score of 5-3. But obviously a powerhouse lineup for both of these teams. Brady and Mackenzie taking on Juan René and Alejandra. So this should shape up to be a great one in mixed teams, by the way. As you can see, two athletes, one male, one female per country. Set system is employed for the mixed team competition to determine the outcome. 2 points for winning a set, 1 for splitting, and the first to 5 is your winner.
And the interesting thing to note that a lot of archers are really, really excited about is that this format, the mixed team round, will be included in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and that's another chance for archers to win another medal for their country, which makes the total medal count for archery go up, which is great for a lot of archers, because there's a lot of archers who went to the Olympics, such as my last experience in Rio, where we had one man and one woman, so we each only had one chance to win a medal. Now, countries like that will be able to get 2 chances to win a medal, and it's going to change the face of archery, change the game as Brady said in one of his interviews about the mixed team. But right now on the field of play, we've got lots of experienced Olympians. Mackenzie Brown, I think, is the newest Olympian, but we're going to start out with one of the veterans, a 3-time Olympian, Brady.
Brady excited about the prospects of that shot, as well as shooting a mixed team in the Olympic Games. It'll really, I think, accentuate and highlight the fact that this sport is so unique that men and women can compete together.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really progressive step for archery to showcase at the Olympics at one of the biggest events in the world. And the USA starting out with 2 9s, a little high right. And the lucky thing here is that the practice field is actually just beyond the targets downrange on the competition field. So everything is at the same, in the same orientation, let's say. They're both facing exactly the same way, and the wind is affecting you kind of the same way. The only thing that is the big factor here is the big building just behind Juan Rene Serrano. That looked like a great shot. He's, I'm proud of him. He's usually a little bit more shaky than that, but he looks a lot more composed, and he just finished that shot nice and strong.
He did seem to be a little bit shaky this morning, I thought, Crispin.
Yeah.
No shakiness for Mackenzie Brown.
And Brady's probably asking her, where did you aim? Like, what did you account for any wind or anything? And he's going to be taking that into account.
Close.
Still a little high, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see him move his sight right now. And there it is.
Decisión.
This week, Brady in qualification shot 669. There's a lot of wind out here this week, though.
There was a lot of wind. It's a very hot venue. I remember on our practice days, there were some people that were actually getting a little bit of heat exhaustion. So I made sure that I kept myself well hydrated during the competition. And yeah, that's the only thing you really can do in this, besides covering up and just keeping yourself nice and cool. And it looks like right now, unofficially, USA has shot 37 to Mexico's 36.
And I'm glad you said unofficially, because after this morning, when we thought the Chinese Taipei had defeated Korea in the women's gold medal match, we had to think again.
Yeah, and I always will say unofficially until everything has been cleared on the scoreboards and it is official. And I think that's just going to my other job as a sports press announcer here on the field of play. But right now it's looking good because there's no really close line calls or anything. And
no asterisks.
No asterisks, and the agents are marking the holes. There hasn't been anything said over the radios that I have heard, and I'm willing to bet that there it is. USA has taken the first set. It is 2-0 in favor of USA over Team Mexico, and Mexico will be shooting first by that judge's indication, as is the rules for World Archery.
Mackenzie Brown with a 9 and a 10, the only 10 for the USA in that opening set. And Brady Ellison consistent with a pair of 9s, the only 8 the first shot of the match. That was by Alejandro Valencia. And Mexico, as the result, drops that set by 1 point, 37-36.
We can see down, I can see down range right now that the wind is actually picking up. And if you noticed where the arrows all landed in the last end, everything was right. And that's where the wind is coming from. It's coming from left to right. And she's accounted for that. I'm watching this windsock that's down range, and it is quartering towards the archers, but also quartering right. So the wind is coming through that big hole that's between the targets and the building.
We'll see if Alejandro is able to pass that on to Juan Rene. And Serrano stabs it into the 7 ring.
It's unfortunate, and what usually happens at that moment is it's probably a very weak shot. He didn't give it enough power, and therefore it just because it had less power behind it, it just sunk low.
Brady going first.
And he's still in the exact same spot that he was shooting before. And he's telling Mackenzie to probably watch the wind.
Mackenzie, who warmed up for her match today by playing some table tennis with the young volunteers inside the Easton Archery Foundation Center.
And
that time things went awry.
Yeah, the wind is definitely picking up on the field of play. You can see it in all of the flags and the tassels from the tents.
So basically, they're gambling right now.
Yeah, I mean, like what the U.S. is known to do is that the person who is not shooting will actually tell the shooter where to aim on the target based on what they're observing, and all it is for the archer to do is just put their sight there and execute the shot. And that is 35 points unofficially for Mexico. USA can tie it now with 2-10s.
But that information is based on a moment in time.
Yes.
And from moment to moment, it could change. Oh, what a shot.
That was a really good shot from Mackenzie. She loves it. Her team loves it. Everybody in the stands loves it. Brady needs a 10 here to tie the set. And she's just telling him, I think, aim a little bit left.
Strong eye focus. Finish your shot.
Mackenzie Brown bouncing back from the 6 to shoot a 10, and Brady with a 9, and so Mexico will take this set as the USA falls 1 point short.
Yeah, and it's I do have to mention it's a little uncharacteristic for Brady in his situation right now, because usually he's going for more than just one medal, but this is his only medal hope for today. Usually we see him in an individual match, and more often than not a team match, and the mixed team is his only chance for a medal today. And I mean, he's still going to be he's still going to be shooting well coming up into Berlin, and he's had a great season so far, and making good stride out here. Also, Mexico is being coached by Luis Velez, and he used to be one of their top shooters back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I'm talking about 6 to 10 years ago. I remember shooting against him a while ago, but I'm also one of the old guys on the field of play. So
that was back in the day, yes.
Yeah, it is back in the day. And U.S. is getting coached by world-renowned Kisik Lee, who's led many archers to Olympic medals.
I was doing a little research while you were talking, Crispin. Brady came into Salt Lake City #1 in the Recurve men compound standings with 34 points.
Recurve standings.
Recurve. Excuse me.
I know he shoots like a compound sometimes.
Did I say compound? I meant to say recurve.
But right now he's still hanging right, which is uncharacteristic, because by now he's usually centered himself and would be shooting 10s all day long. But
he's determined Mackenzie Brown.
Most of their holes are still high in the target, which I'm surprised about, because it is a headwind which is blowing into the archers' faces, which usually puts the arrows low.
Alejandra really becoming a factor.
I think she's dialed in, and you can see the focus in her face. She knows what she came out here to do, and now we'll see if Juan Rene can follow her into the 10 ring. Good shot.
Good teamwork.
What I liked about his bow hand that we saw there, it was nice and relaxed, and you saw the bow just pop right out of his hand and end up in the sling. And some archers tense up a little bit under pressure like this, and you don't see that happen, but that was a good shot. That's a great shot for Mackenzie. Still on the right.
But got it inside that 10 line.
Brady.
Go, Brady.
Or excuse me, from Mackenzie. And Brady just out.
That's a 9, just to the right again. I hope he's going to be moving his sight to the right or aiming a little bit further left, but there's the sight move. And
had to think it over.
Hopefully it's not too little too late.
By the way, Alejandra is shooting.
And she is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I'm glad to see her doing well. And so is Juan Rene. He's a great guy too.
He started shooting back in the day.
He did.
Yeah.
Shot my first U.S. Nationals with him in 2001.
Ooh, so close.
So close to a perfect score. Still, that's enough for the set, and unofficially Mexico leading 4-2 over USA. And what's going to happen now is if in the next set the USA wins that set, then we'll go to a shoot-off. And we'll see if that happens. But just in case it does, the rules for the shoot-off are that each team is going to shoot 2 arrows one per archer, and whichever team has the higher score wins the shoot-off. If the score is tied, then the team with the arrow closest to the center will win. If that arrow is still tied, then you go to the next arrow. But I've never actually seen that happen in a mixed team event. But right now, Mexico is in a great spot, and all they need to do is tie the USA in this next set to win.
We did see it this morning in the women's competition, in the team competition.
Oh,
the match
really?
with the, actually it was yesterday, excuse me. I'm thinking about matches from yesterday. Compound, we saw that. Netherlands and Korea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
After 3 arrows, they had to go to the closest to the center, and I think it was a difference of about 0.18 millimeters.
So that's too close for, that's technically called a tie, because under measurement standard deviation, you're going to see that that's just too close. So then you have to go to the next one. I believe that the tolerance that you're going to see is actually out to, don't quote me on this, but out to 2 millimeters difference. Could still be considered a tie, especially if a human is measuring it.
I can't quote you. So down 4-2 in this match. We head to the next set, the fourth set. United States needing to take this set to keep things going. And that is the first step down the road towards perhaps a shoot-off.
Still on the right side, so I hope that he's
Just finish it.
moving his head a little bit more.
Finish it.
Quick shot. That's a good shot.
When she released, you weren't sure.
No, well, yeah, but what I could see that it was a quick shot, and quick shots for recurve doesn't give you any time to hesitate or rethink your shot or anything. It's just up and gone.
You know, she grimaced as she released, and I think she might be a little surprised.
Yeah, we've all had those types of shots where you just let go and you're like, oh no.
Oh yes.
Sometimes you're lucky.
Valencia on a roll today. The first arrow here in the fourth set that didn't wind up in the center circle. USA advantage with 2 arrows to go in the fourth set.
So USA can clinch it here with a 9 and a 10. That's a 10.
Caught that line.
So Brady needs a 9 right now to force the shoot-off.
Ready?
My teammates would say to me right now, gold is good.
Man has shot a lot of 10s in his life.
Yep.
And he got it.
That's a 10. That's
he
40
got it.
points.
When they had to have it, they got it. Clutch shooting by the USA. And they needed it against Mexico, the way this team has been shooting, Alejandra in particular.
So, we will have a shoot-off.
Or what? Should we let us shoot first? Okay, so you want to shoot first?
And for Juan Rene right now, I hope he's just thinking that he just needs to shoot a good shot, because it was kind of moot for him to shoot that arrow, because it doesn't have any consequence on the outcome right now, because it will be going to a tiebreak. And usually at that point, the archer would just shoot the shot to make sure that they're sighted in for that tie-breaking arrow. At least that's how I see it
Sure,
sometimes.
set yourself up.
Yeah, set yourself
ready.
up for a good shot, and like just feel the good shot and everything. So right now we're going to be going to the tiebreak unofficially. I say unofficially, but it's a pretty good chance, because there's nothing that beats a 40. So we're going to be, Judge Downrange has definitely called it a tie, and we will be changing the targets for the tie situation. It's a great shot of Brady, and what happens to an arrow when it comes out of a bow?
USA bouncing back from that 6 in the second set. They finished with 5 10s out of their last 6 shots and came back from a 4-2 deficit to force the shoot-off.
And there we have the targets being replaced. And in case this wasn't discussed before, they measure from that, we call it the spider, or that X right in the middle of the target. And that measurement is very, very crucial. Especially if you're going to one of those arrows that's really close to the center and you're going to a closest to the center measurement. So any used target could potentially have an X that was shot out. Also do have to mention that it does look kind of empty behind the archers, but that's not really the case. There's a lot of people sitting off to the side in the shade. It's just unfortunate that those stands are just right in the sun, and it is hot. There's everybody there, and there's tons more people inside the building watching on the TV screens that we have set up inside, and it's just hot.
Those behind the archers have sunscreen. Those underneath the canopy do not have sunscreen.
No,
so,
but either way, you're going to be hot and sweaty.
oh, it is hot. It is hot and getting hotter right now as we go to the shoot-off. At stage 1, the USA came away with a bronze medal in this event. At stage 2, it was Spain. The Americans trying to take their second mixed team bronze medal of the 2017 Outdoor World Cup season.
So if I'm not mistaken, USA will shoot 1 arrow, Mexico will shoot 1 arrow, then US, then Mexico. So Brady could set Mackenzie up for a great shot here with a lot of confidence.
And put some pressure on Mexico. It drifts high, though.
High and right, that's exactly where he's been hitting all match long, except for his last shot, which was a 10 on the left.
Con decisión, Alejandra.
Alejandra's been outstanding today.
Oh, that's something she didn't want to do at that moment.
It can happen at any time.
And Mackenzie can clinch right now with a 10.
Yeah,
Got it. The bronze belongs to Mackenzie Brown and Brady Ellison. The final shot by Juan Rene
15
Serrano.
segundos.
Academic at this point. The 10 would only bring them within 1, and they will fall. Well, they'll fall even further short.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't matter. Great shooting from the USA to come back, even like great shooting from Mexico too. Alejandra Valencia was showing us how to shoot so many 10s. And I mean, for the conditions that we have out here, it's hot, it's sweaty, it's bright. Everything is just uncomfortable at times, but when you can take those conditions and just make the best of it, this is what happens. You can bring stuff to shoot-offs and win those shoot-offs.
So congratulations to Mackenzie Brown and Brady Ellison. The USA bringing home, although they already are home, picking up, I should say, another bronze medal. They got the one in China, in Shanghai at stage 1, and now the USA able to claim the bronze here on home turf at the Easton Archery Center outside Salt Lake City under the hot, hot desert sun. So we've had a shoot-off already here this afternoon. Had some great matches this morning. Just to recap for you in case you're just tuning in and weren't able to join us this morning. In the women's team competition, Taipei able to defeat Korea for the gold medal there. And it was China knocking off Mexico 5-3 to win the bronze. And then in the men's team competition, it was Russia taking gold, Taipei the silver, and Malaysia surprising Mexico 6-2 to win the men's team bronze medal. So now you're all caught up on Recurve Sunday. Crispin Duenas along with yours truly, Carl Arkey.
Here in the hot Utah sun.
Oh. How much, I mean, obviously that's a factor, but the wind is the greater factor, isn't it, really?
The wind is a factor, but
when it comes down to it?
Depending on where you're actually from, it can be more or less of a factor because I'm from Toronto in Canada, and our altitude is a lot lower than here. So the wind, the air here, I should say, is a lot thinner because of the altitude of
Thank
Utah.
you. I wanted to bring that up because of the elevation and how much impact that might have.
Yeah, so when you're looking at air molecules here, the air, lack of a better description, is thinner. So the arrows actually cut through the air a little bit more efficiently. And if I were to take my sight mark from Toronto and shoot 70 meters here, which I actually did, I actually hit 7 high because of the altitude change. But with the altitude change comes the air density change. And because the wind is blowing across the field, it can actually affect your arrows less than if I was shooting in Toronto. So also, if you were coming from, let's say, Colorado, an even higher elevation, you can actually be affected more because the air here is actually thicker than in Colorado. So it depends on where you're coming from.
I know where these two are coming from. They're coming from Korea, and they're going for the gold. Of course, Chung Hae-jin and Im Dong-hyun teaming up for this recurve mixed team gold medal match, and they will take on a country that's now becoming a rival for them, Chinese Taipei, and what a team this is.
Yeah, just a few years ago, it was China who was a big rival for Korea, but I think they're going through a little restructuring. I've seen a lot of new archers coming onto the field for China, so we haven't seen a lot of high results, but Chinese Taipei, I mean, this lady on the right here, Tania Tang, she's a favorite amongst a lot of archers and amongst a lot of people at home for me, and she's just, she's a whippersnapper. She can shoot. I was shooting on the practice range beside her the other day, and I was just being put to shame by the groups that she was shooting beside me. And I'm probably shooting another 10 pounds of bow weight on her, and I've probably got another 3 inches of arrow length on her. But she knows how to put them in the middle. And it's scary, but it's really, really humbling to shoot beside her and really awesome to see.
And then when you team her up with Wei Chun Heng, you've got yourself a terrific duo. Wei Chun Heng, who had a great round this morning when he picked up the silver medal. He was the outstanding archer on his team. He was in the 10 ring more often than not, most of the time. And so Wei Chun Heng and Tania Tang teaming up to take on Chung Hae-jin and Im Dong-hyun. Now the Koreans got to this gold medal match by defeating China 6-0 in the quarters, and then knocking off Mexico 5-4 in a shoot-off. They'll start off with an 8 from Im Dong-hyun.
On the right, and that's exactly how the USA started earlier today. Im Dong-hyun is the previous world record holder for the 720 round. Chung Hae-jin almost got it this week. She was 3 points off in conditions that were not favorable at all. And she is also the Olympic champion, so I mean, it's nothing to bat an eye at for this Korean team. But if anybody can take on them, it is this team, starting off with this woman right here.
A little bit of a surprise.
Surprise for the archers, probably not surprising to somebody who's watching and taking observation on where those arrows are landing. Everybody seems to be hitting right when they get onto this field. It's just a different wind funneling through this field.
So Mr. Wei goes left.
And Im Dong-hyun better watch how he's drawing that arrow out of his quiver. The official rules for team round are that one foot has to be planted on the ground on either side of the shooting line before the point of the arrow can leave the quiver. And he's coming really close to getting a yellow card. So I hope it doesn't happen, but it's something that hopefully the judge will be watching out for. That's a good shot. Even though it's on the right, her group is probably about those two arrows are probably about an inch apart. And so it's great shooting from Chang.
They need a 9 and a 10. They get the 10. Now they need just a 9 to tie and split. A 10 would give them the set. Wei Chun Heng shot a lot of 10s this morning. Came close.
Yeah, and we are splitting that set unofficially 1-1. 35-35, and I'm wondering if Mr. Wei's first arrow, which was an 8 to the left, I'm wondering if it was aimed there, to be honest, because he probably saw that his teammate shot her first shot, was aimed in the middle, and it hit an 8 right. So what he might have done instead was said, okay, I'm going to be a little proactive about this, aim left and see if it'll drift in. But sometimes if you're shooting a higher poundage than your teammate, it'll cut right through the arrow a lot more efficiently than their arrow, and it'll hit where you were aiming. And that's a big frustration sometimes with archers, because you're thinking that you're accounting for the wind and thinking you're outsmarting Mother Nature, but sometimes you just can't.
Keep it simple, huh?
It is.
Yeah, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
The KISS theory.
1 S or 2?
There's 2 in there, but I won't mention the last word.
And Korea's actually being smart about their positioning on the field. They lucked out by getting target number 1 on the left side, but they're also staying in the shade of the building and trying to keep themselves nice and cool. Now let's watch Im Dong-hyun and watch that arrow. That's close. It's very close.
This is first time out on the field. We'll see him later in the men's gold medal match, taking on his countryman, Kim Woo-jin. So an excellent start of this set for Korea. The Olympic champion from Rio.
Still off to the right. There's the sight move.
And you talked about erratic, and I think that would apply perhaps to this morning with Chung Hae-jin and the way that she was shooting this morning.
Yeah, I was practicing this morning, and I was walking over from the practice range, and I walked by the field when Korea was shooting against Chinese Taipei in the women's matches, and I saw some of the scores that were up on the boards, and I was like, wait, who's shooting? And
yeah.
So usually when that happens, that's when there's erratic conditions on the field of play. That's close, but I think it's in. I think it's touching. Scores are calling it a 9-star, and so it could be upgraded to a 10 when official scoring has taken place.
So as Crispin Duenas is fond of saying, that's the unofficial score.
And that's good shooting from Im Dong-hyun. Very consistent, an X and a 10. If he wants to start splitting hairs, they're a little high. But a 10 is a 10.
And that's almost a 10.
And it's almost a 10. Still off to the right. And what Chinese Taipei needs right now is if they can score 2 10s, unofficially they'll be tied. But then we'll look at the 9-star on the second arrow, and they could be leading. But 2 10s would be a really good help right now. So that's...
They better be hoping that that second shot is a 10.
And that this arrow is a 10.
Yes. In a sticky position right now, Wei Chung Heng. Quick release. That's a 9.
So
no matter what they roll that second arrow to be,
yeah,
the set's going to go to Korea.
Exactly. So now we're going to be 3-1 unofficial for Korea over Chinese Taipei. And right now I don't think Chinese Taipei is going to be any the bit worried at all, because they're just going to be sticking to their focus plan and sticking to what they need to do, which is just shoot their shots, be a little bit observant on the wind. If I were to be shooting this and I would name this, I would call this a thinking person's wind. It's you have to think about it and just try to make a really good educated guess before you get up to full draw on where you're going to be aiming or if you're going to be moving your sight. And so that's you know, added with the pressure of being in front of a whole bunch of people and everybody who's watching online and everything. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but
it makes the game so much more interesting.
It does.
It really does. It really does. And you know, I haven't talked to anybody about this, but I've got to think that as they were looking at this particular area to lay out this field for this competition, they thought about the fact that, okay, there would be the building to protect that arrow, maybe 30, 35 meters downrange, and then all of a sudden it's going to hit that open wind.
Yeah.
And I think some thought goes into that. It's like golf with the pin placements.
Yeah. So
in that respect, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one, but I'm also pretty sure that they probably didn't know what the conditions were going to be exactly like when they set up this field. But we'll see what happens here. There we go.
Tania Tang, a 10 for Ting.
Little high, but it's off the right side. Right side is relative. It was just like, you know, on the 10 line right side.
But it was in the right neighborhood.
It is.
That one's in the vicinity. Now Im Dong-hyun.
It's a 9 just out high.
Now the 30-year-old Chung Hae-jin.
Right to the left, and that's she might have just overcompensated, or the wind might have stopped. But looking at the flags, the wind has not stopped, so I think that just might be an overcompensation.
So calm, cool, and collected.
And that's the Tania Tang we're used to seeing.
We saw her and Wei Chun Heng win stage 1 in Shanghai and then do it again just 2 weeks ago on Coney Beach in Antalya.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're trying to do it again at the 3rd stage.
And that is a clinch for that set for Chinese Taipei, 39. Even if Korea shoots 2 10s here, they'll only get a 38. So unofficially right now the score should be tied 3-3 after Korea's done shooting. But that is a big motivation for Im Dong-hun, knowing exactly that he is hitting inside the 10 ring. And he's got kind of, you know, space to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Well done. It won't change the outcome of the set.
It won't, but
you know what it means.
That's scary to know that Korea is now sighted in.
And they know it, and Chinese Taipei knows it. Although the thing about Chinese Taipei, they're not in awe of anybody. Although I don't know if anybody is anymore. Do you think, Crispin, I mean, that there's an intimidation factor or anything like that that exists in this sport anymore?
I don't
Amongst the highest ranked, I think the elite archers.
Yeah, with elite archers, I don't think there is as much as there used to be. I remember when I was still competing in my younger years and walking onto the field and saying,
back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. And thinking to myself, oh my goodness, the Koreans are here. Well,
yeah.
I mean, they're going to win. I don't think that happens anymore because a lot more countries have taken it upon themselves to give themselves a more in-depth training environment, and a lot of the archers are becoming more professional archers. They're doing it full time.
More dedicated,
more devoted. They're using science and technology to, well, I should say more science and technology to figure out the most efficient way of shooting or the best way of shooting. Because
and the coaching is getting better too,
the
across
coaching
the globe.
is and I mean, like, there's a lot of Korean coaches being exported as well. So a lot of countries are coming onto the field with Korean knowledge and Korean training. So I don't think Chinese Taipei is one of those countries that will get intimidated. On the other hand, they do have a Korean coach.
And they have become a major, major player on the world scene, as this young lady has, certainly. Of course, as she said a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, you know, before that gold medal, people really weren't talking to me all that much. Now people want to know what I think. It's funny how things change.
Yeah.
After now 1 but 2 gold medals in Rio. Now, Chinese Taipei, a little bit of trouble starting off here in this 4th set.
That was a low 8 from Tania Tang, and she looked a little worried because I don't think she thought it was supposed to end up there. But again, the winner of this set will win the match and the gold medal.
And it's nip and tuck right now after that 10 from Wei Chung-heng.
And Korea could clinch it right now with 2 10s.
How many times have we seen them do that? Lock the door when they get in this position.
One more 10 will clinch. And if anybody can do it, it is Miss Chang right here.
You can put a chain and a padlock. Put a chair behind the door.
Oh. So Chinese Taipei needs 2 10s to tie and force a shoot-off.
It starts with Tania Tang, and it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Unfortunately, that's very anticlimactic, but Korea has unofficially clinched the gold medal from Chinese Taipei. And this arrow will just be for practice, but that's a great practice arrow.
And he's coming back later in the day, so that's meaningful for him.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect way to come off of this field for Mr. Wei. And Tania Tang will be seeing later on today as well. She's sighted in, he's sighted in, and they're ready to go for their matches later on today. But there they are, the mixed team champions, Korea, and silver medalist, Chinese Taipei.
The string is snapped for Chinese Taipei after winning in Shanghai and Antalya. They'll have to settle for the silver medal, which ain't bad. Here in Salt Lake City, Utah, seesaw battle. It was tied after the first set, 1-all. Korea went up 3-1, only to see Chinese Taipei come back to win the 3rd set and tie it at 3-all, and then a 1-point win, I believe it was, 1-point difference in that 4th set. Yes, 38-37, and that's all the difference they needed to clinch it and win the match by the score of 5-3. Love the slow motion replays. And you get to see some of that technology and how it works.
Well, slow motion is another piece of technology that we're using for tuning and for form analysis. So archers watching themselves on slow motion should not be new to them at this level. And we're just getting the field reset and ready to go. And you can see our team there setting up the targets and calibrating the Falco Eye. We got to make sure that the target face stays nice and flat so that the laser readers can find out exactly where those arrows are placed on the target once they've been shot.
And you look at the point totals now of Chinese Taipei with 44, the USA with 28, Korea with 28.
Wow, that's almost a runaway for Chinese Taipei.
I think we're going to see them in Rome.
Most likely.
Just a hunch.
Yeah.
Just a guess. But if I had to put money on it, I think we'll see them there. A lot of folks picking up points here in Salt Lake City that have just about made them a lock for Rome in the World Cup final. There'll be a lot of folks, I think, still trying to get in at Stage 4 in Berlin coming up in August.
Yeah, right here. That's
right.
me.
I wasn't actually looking at you, Crispin, so. Crispin Dueña is joining yours truly, Carl Archie, and we hope you're enjoying our coverage, live shot-by-shot coverage from Salt Lake City, Utah, as you look at the point totals for the recurve women. Zhang Heijin, Ksenia Perova, who won in Antalya 2 weeks ago. Tania Tang right on her tail, too, with 37 points. It is going to be another great World Cup final coming up in Rome in September. Now, the women's recurve individual matches coming up. And again, step ladder format. This is how we got to where we are today as all these archers work their way through the field, and you have a Korean in the final and a Korean in the bronze medal match as well.
And we're going to be seeing Choi Mi-sun walking onto the field right now, and her competitor fairly new to the stage up here, but someone that you should be watching out for, and we'll see her in just one moment.
Women's bronze medal match, Choi Mi-sun for Korea. And she got to this point with a 7-3 win over Zheng Dan of China, one of the up-and-coming Chinese archers who I thought shot very well this morning in the women's team competition. She acquitted herself very well. Choi Mi-sun. And she also faced her teammate Zhang Haijin in the semifinals, dropping that match 6-2. Now she takes on the young Spaniard, and this is Alicia Marie, who came on the scene in Antalya in mixed team competition. That's where we first noticed her when she was shooting with Pablo Acha. And now she is here and breathing, I don't know, is that a sigh of relief or just trying to exhale?
As somebody who's been in that situation before, it's kind of one of those things where you try to keep the face, but then that excitement of, I am here, this is my individual competition, this is all me, and that's probably what she's feeling right now. And, I mean, you can't be too serious about this. You still have to be relaxed. You still have to be able to execute your shot and be relaxed about that.
She was excited about the fact that when she defeated Aida Roman in the quarterfinals, Aida stayed around and cheered for Alicia in the next match in the semifinals when she took on Tania Tang. And in fact, she took Tania Tang to a shoot-off before finally falling.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment for Alicia Marie. And I believe, again, it's her first time as an individual on the stage here. She's been here for mixed team, so she knows what it feels like to be on the stage, but being up there by yourself, it's a whole nother beast sometimes.
It's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Collecting her thoughts.
This driver from Korea shooting first on target 18.
Choi Mi-sun.
It's a 9 out to the right.
9 points.
Alicia's turn. Back to the right.
Same spot.
And my Spanish is very choppy, but I'm pretty sure I heard her coach telling her to watch out for the wind, probably aim to the left, stuff is hitting right. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people correcting me on what that was. But
how's your Korean? What did the coach say to Ms. Choi? Shoot it in the middle.
Probably. Oh, that's unfortunate. Just shake it off, and it happened.
And we're in the set system.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's the set system. This isn't compound. And so
Miss Choi takes the first set, but Miss Marin can just relax, do her shot, get comfortable on the field, and hopefully this is closer to the middle. Unfortunately, it's not, so I think that the wind is affecting her a little bit more than Miss Choi right now.
it's kind of swirling right now as you look at the flags downrange.
Oh, we had that during our team rounds for sure, so I would not be surprised. And yeah, I can see that windsock is actually pointing to the left now. You can't see it on the screens right now, but from our vantage point, that windsock has been pointed mainly to the right for most of these matches.
Which means the wind would have been coming out of the west.
Yeah, exactly, from left to right, west to east. But right now, the windsock is actually pointing slightly into the west side, or the westerly direction, and now it's coming back to the east. So it is definitely a swirling wind, and it will affect the archers who are not, again, thinking about the wind and just watching the conditions on the field of play.
Jamie's son, bronze medal in Copenhagen in 2015, won a silver medal at Odense at the World Cup final last fall. Also won a gold medal on Coney Beach in Antalya last summer. Kind of her coming out party. And a lot of people thought that she might win the gold medal in Rio last year. Was on the team that won the gold medal at the Olympic Games of 2016.
And I will say she does have a really intense game face.
Deep in her own thoughts as Alicia takes her first shot of the second set. Adjusting, trying to find the answer.
Oh, that's a good shot.
She seems to have the answer.
It was a very confident shot, so there was no hesitation, there was no shaking, and the release came back nice and strong. That was a very quick shot, and that's a lot better. So sometimes, like what I said earlier, Carl, it's sometimes the quicker shots on this field of play that are the ones that will land in the middle because you haven't given yourself enough time to screw up.
He who hesitates is lost, eh?
Yeah, or she.
She.
But Choi Mi-sun on track for a perfect 30 in this set. That's another quick shot. That's unfortunate, and that's all you can do is just laugh it off, and just if you know what you did, that's all you can do.
Does she go 3 for 3? She does. It is now a 4-0 lead in the match for the strong, up-and-coming Korean archer, Choi Mi-sun. Big smile on her face. And for Alicia Marie, and I mean, you've been there before, and you understand, and you hear this all the time from other archers. Especially when it's your first time out there, it happens so fast.
It does.
So fast.
It does.
You don't really have a whole lot of time to adjust, especially when you're up against a competitor and an opponent like this.
Mm-hmm. I remember my first time in 2009. It was a gold medal match against an archer from France named Romain Giroux. And I had never been on the World Cup finals stage before.
Hello.
And we were shooting, and I think I was in thinking overdrive at that point. I was thinking, okay, what can I do now? What can I do now? If I make the shot really quickly, is it going to mess him up or anything? And I think that was just my arousal level was way too high because I was just trying to be caught up in the moment of what was going on instead of just focusing on what I had to do. And
way too much stimulus.
Yeah, exactly. And I paid for it. I shot a bad set. I think back then we were actually doing cumulative score as well. So if you screwed up on one arrow, it could affect the whole
thing.
match. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Alicia can do right here. Much better effort. Much better effort.
A little bit of a long shot, but she stuck with it and she committed to it, and that's what you really need in archery.
You know, we don't take sides in any of these matches, but you do want to see archers do well. And, and so you pull a little bit for Alicia.
And I think you like to see closer matches, too. I mean, it's great for the audience. It's great for everybody watching. It's great for TV. That's a great shot.
There you go.
And as an archer, you don't want it to be close. You want to win outright, but it makes for a much more exciting match for everybody else.
That makes things a little more interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
So Alicia Marie can actually clinch this set with a 10, make it a little bit harder with a 9.
She just made it harder.
Made it harder, and she's a little high. So hopefully she's going to be moving her sight up a couple clicks on that sight.
A 10 would win it.
Tie it, actually.
Tie it, excuse me. Tie it, that's right.
And there we go. Alicia Marie has unofficially just taken her first set off of Choi Mi-sun. I'd be happy taking a set off of Miss Choi myself, because I know how fierce of a competitor she can be, so that's a great thing to do. Now she can relax and she can say, that's my shot, I can do that, that's how I shoot, I'm going to do that from now on.
And her coach is doing a great job of keeping her relaxed. She feels, it looks like she's much more calm, at ease. Have a little success. You got to have that success to be able to get that feeling. That's what builds confidence, having been there before and having had some success, and she just did.
So now that she's actually put 3 arrows downrange that she can be really, really happy about, 3 consecutive arrows, I should say, she'll probably come into this next set a lot more confident and with a little bit more gusto, and we'll probably see some of the form that she possessed on her way to getting to this match.
I was remiss in my duties. For those of you who are watching for the first time, perhaps, we have 5 sets in individual competition, 3 arrows per archer per set, 70 meters we're shooting at. 2 points awarded for winning a set, as usual, 1 point for a tie, and the first to get to 6 or more wins the match and the medal. And of course, if there's a tie, as Crispin has already mentioned, we have the 1 arrow shoot off, and the closest to the center is the winner of the medal, and that is not close to the center.
No, that's unfortunate, very unfortunate for her, and she's probably wondering what went on, and I can see the windsock is moving a little bit more. But it doesn't seem to be affecting Miss Choi in the slightest.
Going about her business, trying to get to 6 points, which she can do. A much better effort.
That is much better, and it's a good recovery from shooting that 6.
Perhaps that's not the best way to put it. I'm sure there was a good effort that was given on the first shot. It just
I would say that, but
arrived.
On the mental side of things, a lot of archers after shooting that 6 could mentally give up.
Collapse, yeah.
And collapse or choke or whatever you want to call it. So the fact that she came back with a 10 after that was very, very good. And her 8's out to the right, and I mean, looking at all of those flags in the background, they're all waving pretty vigorously, so there is a good wind on the field of play.
For the win, and there it is. The wind does not stop her from the win. She gets the win, and Choi Mi-sun takes home the bronze medal.
Very professional. Korea.
In workmanlike fashion, a 6-2 victory over Alicia Marie of Spain. And it was nice to see Alicia get 1 set.
Yeah, and she came out, she did her best. That's all you can do when you get to this level, and it's a good experience for Alicia Marie, and who knows, we might see her on this stage again in the individual competition in Berlin in August. So let's keep an eye out for her.
So Choi Mi-sun joins Hayakawa Ren and Lei Chen-ying as bronze medalists on the 2017 Hyundai Archery Outdoor World Cup Tour. The Japanese archer winning at stage 1 in Shanghai. The archer from Chinese Taipei, Lei Chen-ying, taking the bronze on Konyaaltı Beach. And here it's Choi Mi-sun in Salt Lake City, taking the bronze medal. Another medal for Korea today. Let's see, on the medal count, Korea now with 1, 2, and I believe 3. 2 team medals and 1 individual so far, and there's still a chance for more, as is usually the case on Recurve Sunday.
And we're going to be seeing another great match coming up in just a few moments between 2 very talented female archers. But I'll let you do the introductions for that when that gets around.
As we reset and get all ready for the next match, the gold medal match. And it will be 2 heavyweights in women's recurve. As you look at the Easton Archery Center, built about 4 or 5 years, I think opened 5 years ago.
I believe that's correct.
About 5 years ago, and has really been a boon to archery here in the Intermountain West, in the western United States, maybe this part of this hemisphere, actually. A lot of countries from around the nation coming here to train, especially in the winter months. Good to be indoors.
Yeah, 70-meter indoor range. I know that my team and Team Canada has come down here to train, and at the same time we were here with Team Japan, who is out here just to train, and we shot lots of competitions against them, and it's a great place for training. There's a gym in here, there's a change room, showers, everything, and it's a great facility.
And here is a great archer, Chung Hee-jin,
Shooting on target number 1.
shooting for Korea, the Olympic gold medalist in the gold medal match here in Salt Lake City. She's ranked number 2 in the world. You see her numbers there. I think maybe the most impressive number from this past week is the 683 she shot during qualifying.
Yeah, that beat a lot of people on the field.
Beat everybody, men and women.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yes.
Yep.
Who's the top scorer for a male or female archer? That's 683 on those 72 arrows. But Tania Tang was not far behind, shooting a 666. She's ranked 6th in the world, and she is fully capable of putting up a heck of a fight here in this match against Chung Hee-jin. So we get set for this match. The archer from Korea defeating Mackenzie Brown 7-1 in the quarters, and then knocking off Chimi-sun 6-2 in the semis. In the quarterfinals, Tania Tang over Alejandra Valencia in a shoot-off 6-5. And then getting the measure of Alicia Marie in a shoot-off as well, 6-5. Tools of the trade right there.
차분하게. 좋아, 12시 9.5.
And an 8.
차분하게. 차분하게 들어와.
It's interesting to know that Tania Tang is still on the right side. I thought that she would have compensated for that by now, but clearly not.
Bit of an adjustment right there. Chung Hee-jin. Let's see if Tania Tang, she does adjust.
1 point difference in favor of Ms. Chang.
차분하게. 끝까지.
And a 10 here would clinch the set.
좋아.
So Tania Tang's final arrow for this set should just be for sighting in and confidence, which I'm pretty sure she has a lot of confidence to be able to shoot at this level, and there it is.
There it is. That'll build the confidence.
And in the swirling conditions, that 27 from Tania Tang still isn't a bad end. It's not a bad set by any means whatsoever. Chung Hee-jin is just shooting a 28 and just edging out her opponent. And right now, unofficially, Ms. Chang with a 2-0 lead over Tania Tang. And Tania Tang will be shooting first when we come back from scoring.
She kind of dug herself a hole, Tania Tang did, with that 8 on her first arrow. Came back with a 9, then a 10, but by then, it was a little bit too late.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
But she did finish out with a 10 and a lot of confidence to go into this next set, knowing that her last arrow was right there in the middle, exactly where she wanted it to be. So all she needs to do is relax, do her shot, and execute.
So the woman ranked 6th in the world and has been ranked as high as 2nd in the world as early or as recently as April of this year. We'll shoot first to start the second set and nails a 10.
There we go. See how Ms. Chang responds. 10. Closer 10. Set is tied. And she's a little bit on the upwind side.
Opportunity for Chung Hee-jin. Nope.
And we're still tied.
Well, you can just see the wheels turning in their heads. They try to figure out where that wind's going to be pushing those arrows, where to aim. And it could be a 4-0 lead.
It is tied. It's 3-1 unofficially in favor of Chung Hee-jin.
The double gold medalist from Rio. Won a silver medal in Shanghai to start this outdoor World Cup season at stage 1. Before that, though, you had to go all the way back to 2014 when she won a gold medal on Antalya. That hadn't really been all that prominent. Hadn't won an awful lot. And then all of a sudden last year kind of caught fire.
Sometimes it just takes some archers a little bit of time to get that groove and get used to competing out on the international circuit. It is stressful. It does take a toll on you mentally. So you have to be able to know how to control that and how to pace yourself on the field of play. And sometimes some archers they get a taste of it. They don't do as well as they wanted to, and then they get back home and they say, okay, I got to work on X. And then once they start working on it, they start to get more into a rhythm and a headspace where they're a lot more comfortable on the international stage and at the World Cup, and then you start seeing them winning all of these. So I think a lot of the top archers have gone through that, and some of them have become super successful.
And that young lady has stayed with it. She's 30 years old, which makes her a real veteran in this sport. And she's been able to hang in there and stay with it, and keep working on her game, getting better. And she's in a good spot right now. As you see that windsock down range. Doesn't seem to affect her, though.
No, it doesn't. I do like the Batman hat, though.
You like that, huh?
I do. Right there.
Well, hats off right now to Chang Hee-jin, who has a commanding 5-1 lead in this match after the first 3 sets and is well on her way. Speaking of hats, I like Daido Roman's hat this morning.
Didn't see that one.
Born to win.
Oh, the
flip
flip-up brim.
Yeah, you flip it up. Born to win.
Yep.
Gotta get me one of those hats. It's about time I start winning.
Well, Tania Tang is definitely a winner as well. She's won so many things. And right now, what she does need to do is win the 2 next sets to force the shoot-off. That is the only way that she can win, is to bring it back to 5-5, force the shoot-off, and then shoot well in the shoot-off.
And it's not out of the realm, Crispin.
It's not. It's not. It's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible.
Especially for archers at this level. Both of them are elite archers.
And Miss Tania Tang will be shooting first. Let's see how she opens up this set.
Maybe from type A, but strikes me as a type B personality.
But
calm, cool, collected.
And shoots a 10.
Shoots a 10. Didn't get flustered.
That is very close.
I think that's out.
Scorers are calling it a 10.
Yeah, maybe they've got they do have a better view of it than I do.
That's definitely a 9, but the scores are calling Chang's first arrow probably a 9-star. There it is, 9-star.
Okay.
That's definitely in.
No doubt about it.
So 10 needs obviously a 10 here to keep it alive, but to put a little bit more pressure on. And that's just out. Oh my goodness. It's one of those situations where you're like, oh, well, it's close.
Out of her hands.
And
it's in the hands of Chang Hye-jin, who wins it 7-1 in a commanding performance, led from start to finish, wire to wire. And the great Korean archer, the gold medalist, double gold medalist from Rio in 2016, adds another gold medal to her trophy case.
And that was very good shooting, very calm shooting from Chang Hye-jin. I don't know if she's trying to shake all the nerves out now with those shaking of the arrows, but she did not look nervous at all. She's clearly really happy with her result here. And congratulations to her. And again, congratulations to Tania Tang for really good shooting. She put on a great show for us here and had some unfortunate 1-point losses in some sets. And I mean, again, I have nothing else to say. It was a great match.
You have to think that those 2 matches that she shot earlier today, now Tania Tang also shot some earlier previous matches, but we saw this morning, and we talked about this already, and not to, you know, belabor the point, but this morning she was not as solid as she was this afternoon. I think she worked out some of the things that she needed to work out in those earlier matches in the women's team and then in the mixed team. And as a result, what you saw was a much better performance here in the gold medal match.
Yeah, and sometimes what that is just you've experienced the field, you've felt the field, and now you're ready to come out and perform on the field.
And now 46 points for the young woman from Korea, Ksenia Perova with 40. Tania Tang with 37. So a lot of people still in play heading to stage 4 in Berlin come August. It'll be good for these archers to get, I know you included, to get some time off.
Yeah, month of July is a relatively quiet month for a lot of us. There are some other major competitions taking place during July, but for me and for the World Cup, there's going to be not a lot of traveling.
No, we go dark for a little while during the month of July.
But rest is good.
Yes, rest is a good thing. Take a look at the point totals for the men in recurve. Brady Ellison with 47. Kim Woo-jin, Im Dong-hyun right behind. Jean-Charles, who won on Coney Alte Beach, 35 points. Steve Weilach, yeah. He was outstanding at stage 1 in Shanghai and picked up a lot of points there. Marcus Almeida, we see him on that list, and we're going to see him momentarily in this men's bronze medal match that's coming up. And once again, take a look at the matches that led up to these matches that we're about to enjoy. And this gives you some sense and some feel for how much work goes into getting to the TV matches, the medal matches, the matches on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, and it really separates the people who have that dedication and that commitment to training and I guess that calm, collected attitude on the field of play. And those are the people that we're going to be seeing right now, and this is one of them. And he came out on the scene in 2015, I believe it was, and we saw him in the final.
I think it was 2014.
Is that in Lausanne?
In Lausanne.
Yeah.
Lausanne.
And he was one of those people that everybody was like, where did this guy come from? And he just...
Brazil.
Yeah, well, yes.
Master of the obvious, I know. I know. Marcus Almeida from Brazil. And look at his world ranking, 27th in the world ranking. And I was trying to find out what he shot during qualifying, and I'm not sure it was in the top 20. In fact, let me look at some of my other reams of information that I have here as you look at Wei Chun Heng from Chinese Taipei come out to accept the challenge. Marcus Almeida was 45th after the ranking round. 45th.
And he came back.
He came back.
He's got a very, very good match play average, I believe. So when he gets into the one-to-one situations or one-on-one situations, he can throw it down. And he's got a very, very focused demeanor when he's actually on the field of play. You're going to see it. And he doesn't, there's no hesitation from him, which is what you need at this stage.
Marcus Almeida from Brazil, defeating Mohamed Akmal Noor Hasrin of Malaysia by the score of 7-3 in the quarterfinals, and then falling by a score of 7-3 to Im Dong-hyun in the semis. Meanwhile, Wei Chun Heng, a 6-4 win over Brady Ellison in the quarters, and then dropping a 6-2 decision to Kim Woo-jin in the semis. Should be a good one, and it's underway. Wei Chun Heng almost getting it into that 10 ring. And a good look at Marcus Almeida, all the way from Brazil. Ooh.
Wow, that is very close. It's going to be a 9-star for sure.
Second shot's a better one.
His follow-through was a little bit more erratic than you'd like to see, but he was probably getting pushed over by the wind and trying to float back into the 10 ring, and that's just the result of movement when the shot goes off. That's a solid 9 for Marcus Almeida, and the scores are calling his first arrow a definite 9. So right now, Wei Chun Heng unofficially in the lead and can clinch this with a 10. That's a 9, and Marcus Almeida can tie with a 10 now.
Not to be for the man ranked 27th in the world. He'll fall in the first set by 1 point, 28-27. Marcus Almeida, you know, and it's interesting, you said that. He came out, it was 2014, so that's 3 years ago. You think he's older. He's 19. He's 19 years old.
Oh my goodness.
He's got a lot of archery in front of him. A lot of matches, a lot of tournaments.
And he's already had a lot behind him, and that he's already accomplished so much in his short time on the World Cup stage. And I remember seeing him as a 16-year-old, and at one point he was, well, I can't say that it's changed or anything, but he was shooting against Brady Ellison in Lausanne. And I had to make the comment as the event announcer that Marcus Almeida was 10 years younger than Brady when they were shooting that match. I kind of got a snide little look from Brady after I said that, but it is true.
Yeah, appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
But I can't talk. I'm one of the older guys on the field, too.
We're not going to talk about age.
But Marcus Almeida, again, 19, and he's here in the bronze medal match. That is a really good testament to the mental game that he's got and the form and composure that he has at this level.
Yeah, just seeing him again makes that accomplishment when he was 16, winning a silver medal at the World Cup final, all the more remarkable. And doing it against Brady Ellison.
And that's about 2 millimeters out of the 10 ring.
The man with the lead seems intent on keeping that lead. Building upon it. Marcus finds his mark.
That was a very good shot. Release came clean off the string, straight back. Good follow through, and 10 is the result. And we are tied. Marcus can put some pressure onto Wei with a 10 here. Not saying that there's no pressure out there right now, but
I'd say there's a fair amount, yeah.
and there it is. That's the 10.
He responds to the pressure.
The best that Wei can do right now is tie with a 10. And we don't have that tie.
Nope, not going to happen.
We are now tied with the set points, 2-2. And Marcus Almeida holding his own on the field of play. I should mention that we didn't see him on any, I think, yeah, any finals venues since 2014.
I think you're correct.
Yeah, so this is a really good comeback for him. And I remember noting, kind of just in my head to myself, that I hadn't seen him perform really well since 2014.
I have to think, this is just pure speculation on my part, but there was so much attention being paid to him with the run up to the games in Rio.
Yes.
Being one of the top hopes Brazil had of getting a medal. And he's at such a young age to have that much put upon you, I got to think has got to have an impact. It's got to have an effect.
It does, for sure. And I mean, I saw commercials with him featured in it, and there was a lot of stuff that he was doing. And sometimes a lot of that PR stuff can cut into your training, and then you don't get as much training or a good quality training that you once had. And yeah, leading up to the games, that's a lot of pressure.
There was a lot of expectation for him.
There was. So it's good to see him back.
Match tied at 2-all. And we start off with a 9 from Wei Chun Heng, who's only 3 years older at 22 years of age.
3 years can be that's almost a full Olympics.
Is that kind of like dog years or something?
Sometimes we actually talk in
archery, yeah.
quadrennials.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how many Olympics ago was that?
Tied at 9 in this third set. Tied at 2 in the match. Mr. Wei Chun Heng, who's made more of a name for himself really as a team archer, a mixed team with Tania Tang, trying to make a name for himself now in individual competition. Both of them searching at this point. Still trying to find their groove and their range.
And Marcus Almeida has not left the gold, which is a really good accomplishment as well. And Wei is putting some pressure. Again, Wei hasn't left the gold either in this match. Putting some pressure with an X on his last shot and see if Mr. Almeida can follow that up with a 10 of his own. And he doesn't. That's just out almost an 8. And it is now 4-2 unofficially for Wei Chung-heng over Marcus Almeida.
Last shot days ago.
Wei Chun-heng with the silver medal in the team competition so far today. Then in mixed team, a silver medal. So he's had 2 silver medals, now going for the bronze individually. And Marcus Almeida, his one and only chance at a medal here in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I don't think they even brought any female recurve archers for Brazil. Don't quote me on this one either, but I don't remember seeing at least the usual faces that I'm used to seeing from Brazil. They could have brought some new faces in that I didn't notice, but it wasn't, there was no mixed team chance for him. And I knew that he had a team round chance, but they were eliminated, I think fairly early, unfortunately. If they cut, I'm not sure. I haven't looked over the results, but here we go. Marcus Almeida will be leading off because he is the archer who is trailing, and Wei Chung-heng has a chance at this bronze medal right now if he can close this set out with a strong score.
Almeida trying to put up a fight.
And that's one way to get it started with a 9.
You can see those holds in his target. They're right around that 10 ring.
Yeah, there's not a lot really centered. So we're tied right now. Yeah, Wei Chung-heng has an X at least downrange, and Mr. Almeida does not have an X yet. And I can't say that's bad shooting or anything, but what that might just be is a slight amount of tension in the fingers where the arrow isn't just landing straight in the middle.
And a 9.
A 10 here from Marcus will put more pressure onto Wei.
And he did catch lightning in the bottle in that second set, ending that set with a pair of 10s, but has not had a 10 since then. It's 6 straight arrows without finding the center of the target.
It's unfortunate, but a 10 here for Wei will win. Let's see. A 9. And we are unofficially tied. Actually, I won't even say unofficially. I can see that there are no line calls. Officially, it is going to be 5-3 in favor of Mr. Wei Chung-heng. And Marcus Almeida will be shooting first. And now what I'm talking about with arrows that are less centered and arrows that are kind of like going around the 10 ring is that sometimes, especially with recurve archery, the amount of tension that you have in your fingers plays a great deal with where your arrows are landing downrange. And I'm not talking about shooting like arrows in the red or in the blue or whatnot. When you're actually centered in the middle of the gold, if you've taken your bow and you've sighted it in and you know that you can be hitting X's and you've got that shot and you just deviate slightly away from that shot, that specific shot that puts you in the middle, that will start to make your group open up, which is what we're seeing, I think, from Marcus Almeida with all of those 9s that are encircling the 10 ring. So that's purely tension in the string fingers, and it could also be on the bow hand as well.
Are you saying too much tension or not enough?
Too much.
Too much.
Too much, yeah. Not enough, you probably wouldn't be able to pull the string back, but it could just be the tension of being here on the finals field for the first time in a few years.
Grips and rips it.
And it sounds like one of his stabilizers was loose, but that doesn't affect where anything is going to go. And that's 9. We're tied again.
All this man needs is one more point.
And yeah, if Mr. Wei can just match Marcus Almeida with whatever he's shooting, he will win this match.
Still seeking the 10. That's 8 shots in a row that have been 9s for Marcus Almeida.
And that could be the arrow. We'll see what happens in this next arrow from Almeida.
Could be the backbreaker. We'll have to see what happens on the next 2 arrows. The one from Almeida.
Oh, there we go.
Did he catch it?
That is a 10, yes. Gold is good for Wei.
A 9 would get it done for Wei Chun-heng of Chinese Taipei, who is your bronze medalist in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and as you heard George say over the announcements over there, both archers stayed inside the gold, which is that's really good shooting from both archers to be able to maintain all of your arrows in that middle yellow ring. And both of them were almost neck and neck every single end.
4 10s for Wei Chun Hang, 3 for Marcus Almeida. Everything else, 9s.
And that 110 could have been that could deciding
have been
factor.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the difference. This is a tough sport. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, it can be completely the opposite way around. And I'll use myself as an example. At the Arizona Cup earlier this year, I had a match against one of my teammates, Hamilton Nguyen, and in that match, I had a serious brain fart. And I
For
missed.
lack of a better term.
For lack of a better term, I just was not into the shot that I was making, and I missed. I completely missed the target. My arrow went skipping across the Arizona desert. I had to walk behind the targets to go find it. That was a little embarrassing.
Back with the rattlesnakes and jackrabbits.
Yeah, it's a little scary too.
Yeah.
But when you have an incident that happens like that, all you can really tell yourself is, okay, that happened. Let's move on. And luckily with set play, you can just move on. It doesn't really affect what's going on in the match because you can come back from that miss, unless it's in your last set of scoring. So luckily, I was able to recover from that miss and win that match. So it can go both ways. But we're going to see two big powerhouses coming up in the gold medal match for the recurve men and our final match of the day. And these are two Korean archers who have both held the world record at one point in their life.
Highly decorated archers. It'll be Im versus Kim here in the gold medal match in Salt Lake City, Utah. Final match of the day, final match of the weekend, and the week for that matter, as we wrap up stage 3. And this will be interesting, to say the very least. You never know how it's going to go, but on paper, Im Dong-hyun taking on Kim Woo-jin. That is a marquee matchup if there ever was one. Im Dong-hyun defeating Marcelo Costa of Brazil, 6-love in the quarterfinals, and then knocking off Marcus Almeida 7-3. And you see his world ranking right there, 14th in the world coming into this match against his fellow countryman, Kim Woo-jin. Mr. Kim with a win over Oh Jin-hyuk in the quarterfinals, again having to face a teammate and dispatching him by the score of 7-3. Kim Woo-jin moving on and facing Wei Chun Hang and defeating him 6-2. So it's number 2 in the world against number 14 in the world. These two know each other very, very well.
They do, and I'm predicting we're going to see a great match right now between these two powerhouses. Im Dong-hyun had left the international scene for a little while after 2012. He set the Olympic record in 2012. He shot a 699 out of 720 for the ranking round. And then this past Olympics in Rio, Kim Woo-jin basically called his shot before even getting there and said, I'm going to break the world record when
one better, right?
Well, he said he was going to break it, but yeah, it was one better. It was a 700 out of 720. So again, he currently holds the world record for the 72 arrow ranking round. We'll see what happens here.
That's what happens. A man shoots 10s.
And I will say that Kim Woo-jin has by far, if I was to look up to anybody for their release, his release hand is what I emulate mine to be. If you watched how he lets go of that string, it is by far, I think, the best in the world. That's what happens.
On his game, right from the get-go.
And you have to be if you're going to be against a Korean.
Both of them on their game. Mr. Kim shot 679 this week during the ranking round. He's perfect. He's clean.
Let's see if Im Dong-hyun can stay clean as well.
He'll have to, otherwise he'll be down 2-0, and he is indeed trailing in the match.
And I've been in that situation before where I've lost a set with a 29, and that's frustrating as anything because
stinks.
It does, because 29 is not a bad score. It's actually a very good score, but to lose with a 29, it's kind of the luck of the draw of when you shoot your specific scores, especially with set play, because you could have quote-unquote saved that 29 for another set against the archer and won that set. But no,
if only you could.
Yeah, no, seriously, but like you've just wasted a 29 to their 30. But again, it's going to be great. It is great shooting. It's going to be a great match. And Kim Woo-jin starting off with a commanding 30 against Im Dong-hyun with just textbook form and textbook attitude.
Im shot a 680 this week. And was top amongst the male recurve archers with that 680. Still trailed Chung Hee-jin by 3. The more you think about it, that's really impressive.
It is.
That's really impressive. But that's the great thing about this sport.
Yeah.
Men, women, almost on even plane, really. And yesterday we saw it on compound. We saw a para-archer competing in the men's team competition for Italy. Alberto Simonelli.
I love seeing that because I remember when we were in Rio, one of the archers from Iran was a para-archer, and she competed at the Olympics and then again at the Paralympics. So being able to do that with able-bodied archers, wow, that's a good shot. Being able to compete with able-bodied archers is definitely a great accomplishment for para-archers.
And it's what makes archery so unique. I can't think of another sport where you can say what we just said. Can't think of another one. Can you?
Not off the top of my head right now. No. I'm too engrossed in this match right now because this is great shooting.
Oh, that last shot was so. Oh, and now
that's
flies
2 points
high.
down. Yep. And Kim Woo-jin can win this set with a 10. If anybody can do it, he can.
Im Dong-hyun had such a great shot on that second arrow, but it's not going to cost him. They're going to tie and split.
I wonder what happened. His arrows all hit high there. And that's relative because high for him is, averaging about a 10.2.
Man averages, well, this man averages 9.5. They both average 9.5 per arrow. Over the last 2 years, they've been averaging that. Kim Woo-jin with an 80% winning percentage. Has won 67 of his 84 matches. That isn't bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
And he's good in tiebreakers as well.
I think the one archer who's beaten that one is Sarah Lopez. I think in the last, how many years? She's only lost 2 matches on the World Cup stage.
Well, she had won 31 straight matches in World Cup competition and had won 5 straight World Cup final.
Yeah, so that's impressive.
Or excuse me, not finals, 5 straight World Cup
Cups.
gold medals. Yes.
Yes.
In stage play.
Yeah.
And that may not be broken for a while.
No, I don't perceive it will be.
Remarkable consistency, and not the consistency you'd expect from Im Dong-hyun.
I'm looking on the field, and the wind has died, so he might still be adjusted for a headwind, but now that there's nothing slowing his arrow down.
Can that throw you off?
It can.
Yeah.
It can, yeah.
Because you're anticipating wind, and you get none.
Yeah, and the arrows are spending close to a second and a half in the air, sometimes, depending on the archer. So that's that amount of distance from the shooting line to the target is how much time the wind can affect your arrow. And if the wind has died and you started shooting high, I'd be getting on that sight and moving it like he's doing right now.
Took a little of the wind out of his sails, and Im Dong-hyun can wrap up this set.
That's a little bit of a bobble and a shake, but he still pulled it through, and that clinches the set.
Ties up the match. So let's see when Mr. Kim's got up his sleeve. Maybe just playing around with that shot a little bit. So here we are after 3 sets, tied up at 3-all. Up in the air, anybody's match at this point.
And I'm wondering which archer I would rather be right now, because right now Im Dong-hyun is in the shade and Kim Woo-jin is in the sun on the shooting line, but you're both looking at a sunny illuminated target. So I'm just, in my head, I'm wondering who I would rather be there. Somebody whose eyes are adjusted right from the shooting line, or somebody whose eyes are not adjusted.
And neither going with sunglasses or any kind of
No. I know that Im Dong-hyun has professed in the past to being almost legally blind. Having personally almost been legally blind, I don't know how much of that I believe. But if it is true, then good on him.
He has said in the past that it's about the feel and the sense, and it's an interesting theory.
It is.
And who am I to say? I can't say this. That was a great shot.
That is a good shot.
That's a great shot.
Anybody will tell you that's a great shot.
I can see that much. Im Dong-hyun doesn't have to be perfect, but he needs to be in that 10 ring. Instead, he's in the danger zone.
And he is the first person in the men's medal matches to go out of the gold.
Not good. Advantage, Kim Woo-jin. Down by 2.
That's really interesting that he's going off to the right, and I don't see anything on the field of play that would indicate to me that it should be going there, so it might just be his shot.
Wow.
Another arrow to the right.
When you least expect it.
Maybe he was being nice. Who knows?
Could tie it up at the 10, and it's not going to happen. So 5-3 lead for Mr. Kim. So the battle of Im and Kim goes on to the 5th set. What could be the 5th and deciding, or perhaps
one of the
Im
sets
comes
on our way to a shoot-off. And how great would that be for a gold medal shoot-off again?
Be a nice way to end the week and the weekend.
Yeah, and I think the men's compound ended off with a shoot-off, the gold medal, men's recurve.
Had a lot of shoot-offs yesterday in compound competition. Had a shoot-off in the mixed team bronze medal match earlier today. Well, that is the only shoot-off we've seen so far. Although I take that back, I think in the match between Taipei and Korea, the women's gold medal match, I'll go back in my notes, but I think that was way back this morning, ages ago.
Ages ago, yeah.
That was so interesting. We thought that the match was over and the Taipei had won, but then the judges changed a score from a 5 to a 6, and all of a sudden it was even, and they played on.
Yeah, and for the archers, you can never be like comfortable and satisfied until the match is completely over, because you don't want to psych yourself out. And that is going to be a little bit of an issue. 3, 2, 1.
Got it off.
And that's
did
a 9.
pretty well.
Wow.
Considering the circumstances.
And let's bring the heart rate back down, Mr. M.
He likes to cut it close.
That's a good solid shot from Mr. Kim. And hopefully Im Dong-hyun will be a little bit smoother on this shot and not have to let down. That looked like a better shot. Still high. Wondering why. Again, I'm seeing nothing on the field that would indicate high arrows.
Final arrows in regulation play.
Im Dong-hyun wanting to keep the pressure on his teammate, Kim Woo-jin. Needs a 10 to do that, and it looks like it's just out.
Just out. That's a millimeter outside of the 10 ring, and Kim Woo-jin needs an 8 to win.
Which he should be able to do with his eyes closed.
Yes.
8 to win.
For the win, and
7.
it's 7.
We have a shootout. What?
Can you believe what you just saw? Can you believe what you just saw?
I actually cannot. But it's...
Let's hear it for
Wow.
You know, I've been saying that word a lot this weekend. And yesterday, I apologize for my brilliant commentary and analysis. But, yeah, sometimes wow is all you can say. What happened?
I don't know.
What happened?
I will say bluntly right now, it is not the first time that I've seen Kim Woo-jin shoot arrows out in the 7. I have seen it happen when we were in Rio, And I just make it a testament to him showing us that he's actually human still, even after shooting 700 at a 720. But he is not.
It's not a letdown.
He's not invincible, let's say. It's not a letdown by any means.
But when I say that, I mean mentally.
No. And I mean, hopefully Im Dong-hyun hadn't mentally checked out and said, okay, Kim Woo-jin can win this with an 8, because clearly that didn't happen. So right now we're going to see the shoot-off. And again, to review the rules for the shoot-off, we're replacing the targets, and it is each archer will shoot 1 arrow. They get 20 seconds per arrow, and we'll be shooting in the original shooting order, which I believe was Kim Woo-jin shooting first. And the archer with the arrow closest to the center will win the match. If it's too close to call by measurement, we're going to have to shoot a second arrow. But I still kind of can't believe that Kim Woo-jin just shot a 7
well,
to
especially
go to the shoot-off.
when you consider the fact he starts off the match shooting 3 straight 10s to take that opening set.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if the pressure got to him, or if he got a little too excited and said, oh, I can shoot an 8, that's easy, no problem. So
he did shoot an 8 on his final arrow of the 4th set, and then the last set in regulation is a 7 that forces the shoot-off, and the hearts are beating in Salt Lake City.
And let's see what Kim Woo-jin does with this first shot.
They train for this, they prepare for this, but it is hard to simulate this situation.
That's longer than normal.
10-9 liner, it's a 9.
That's a 9.8, we would call that.
He is at the mercy of his teammate, Im Dong-hyun, who's put on the sunglasses for the first time all day, and it pays off.
Wow. That is a very, very brave move to put on sunglasses for 1 arrow, because it does change your sight picture. It changes how light bends and comes into your eye,
and how you see the distinction between the rings.
Exactly. Wow, that was a very, very good shot, and both of them were off to the right. And
what a way to end
Im's was closer.
The weekend.
Yeah.
He put on the shades, and I tell you what, the world looks a lot rosier through those glasses right now for Im Dong-hyun, who came back from the dead like Lazarus. he was dead in the water. Come on. Admit it. He was dead in the water.
Against Kim, against Kim
Woo-jin needed was an 8.
Yeah, he only needed an 8, and he unfortunately couldn't come through with that arrow. And he paid the price for it, and Im Dong-hyun took full advantage of that situation and shot a great arrow to just barely edge out Kim Woo-jin, but still take that win. So congratulations to Kim Woo-jin. Very good shooting. He showed us why he's one of the best shooters in the world, but Im Dong-hyun showing his longevity in this sport. He won his first Olympic medal in 2004, and he won
another one in 2008.
He was 18 in 2004, because him and I are exactly the same age. And I remember watching him after winning that medal crying, because I'm pretty sure that meant that he didn't need to go to the military for winning the medal. And I know that that's a fact, that you don't have to go to the military in Korea if you've won an Olympic medal. And here he is, almost 10 years later. 10 years later, still competing and winning. I think his first world championship medal was in 2003 in New York.
It was 2003. It was a team medal in 2003. He also won a silver individual in 2003.
Against Michele Frangilli from Italy, who we are not seeing around anymore.
You have an amazing memory.
I used to be all about the stats when I was a lot younger. So.
I got my cheat sheets here, but you...
So, I mean, to see Im Dong-hyun winning a 2017 World Cup after taking a small hiatus, rumor has it he had a child as well, so he's now a family man, and for him to make it back onto the Korean team and now take on the world and win a World Cup against a fellow Korean, it speaks huge to his longevity in this sport.
Well, having those family responsibilities, anybody will tell you. I think Erica Jones is finding that out now, coming back.
Yeah,
it's a game changer, no question about it. Having children is a game changer, and when you're trying to compete at an elite level in a sport like this, at the world-class level, it adds another little wrinkle to things, and my admiration for anybody who can come back and do that. Real Wild, of course, has a great family, and Rio's been, of course, he's got a great wife who is supporting him, and he's able to go out and do what he does.
Yeah. And we just saw our VIPs who will be handling the trophies and the medals. I should say the taffies and the medals.
The taffy, yes, that saltwater taffy.
Denise Parker, who is the CEO of USA Archery, and Jay Bars, the 1988 men's Olympic champion. And I know he still shoots. He's a great guy to be around.
Still lives in the Salt Lake City area.
Still lives in Salt Lake, about half an hour away from here.
Yeah, and Denise, of course, I remember, this is how long I've been around here in the Utah area. I remember covering her when she was about 15, maybe 14 years old, and just starting to make a real name for herself, and then obviously goes to the Olympics and draws a lot of attention, and drew a lot of attention to the sport of archery, as are Brady Ellison and Mackenzie Brown, who win the bronze medal and
silver medal,
also get that
Chinese
sweet
Taipei.
saltwater taffy. So a bronze for Mackenzie and for Brady.
Tania Tang.
The dynamic duo of Tania Tang and Wei Chun Heng accepting the bronze medal
Wei Chun Heng
in mixed team competition. The Americans, of course, defeating Mexico in a shoot-off 5-4. The USA getting to that shoot-off by shooting 4 straight 10s in the 4th set to force overtime, where they won it 5-4 in the shoot-off. And Korea and Chinese Taipei
Gold
split the
medal
first set.
representing the Republic
Korea took
of
the second.
Korea.
Chinese Taipei took the third. Korea took the fourth. And that is why Im Dong-hyun and Cheng Hai-jin are on top of the podium here in Salt Lake City. Framed by the beautiful, iconic arch,
Im Dong-hyun,
which anybody who is planning a trip to the United States and perhaps the western United States, 5 national parks, that's one of them, Arches National Park, approximately 4 hours outside of Salt Lake City. And you get down into southern Utah, you will see some of the most, well, even northern Utah too, but the national parks primarily in the southern part of the state. Just some breathtaking scenery, and millions of people from around the world come every year to gaze at sites
ladies
like
and gentlemen,
Arches, Canyonlands,
please stand
Capitol
for the
Reef,
national anthem
Bryce,
of the Republic of
and
Korea.
Zion National Park.
And that's a national anthem that a lot of archers are very used to hearing. Korean national anthem, as Im Dong-hyun and Cheng Hai-jin take the gold medal for the mixed team round.
And we'll hear that national anthem again, I assure you, as it's another big medal haul for the great nation of Korea. A couple of medals this morning in team competition. Taking the gold medal in mixed team competition. I do have to admit, it was a little bit surprising, although maybe not surprising, but when you don't see Korea in recurve winning a team gold medal,
yes,
it's a little bit surprising.
The men's recurve team was taken out by the Russian team in the second round. And it was the big talk because Russia was against Kazakhstan in the first round, and we know how great a season Kazakhstan had been having. So
they made it to the last 2 gold medal matches in
exactly.
Antalya and Shanghai.
And they were and Kazakhstan had beaten Korea in Shanghai in the gold medal match. So for Russia against Kazakhstan and Kazakhstan to lose in the first round, It was huge for a lot of archers who were watching because they were expecting that Korea and Kazakhstan were going to be facing each other in the second round. So in the first round, Korea beat Canada, and after we had lost, we were watching the match between Kazakhstan and Russia, and we were just wondering, like, what's going on, because Kazakhstan wasn't in the lead, and then Russia came out and beat Kazakhstan, and then in the second round took out Korea, and everybody was surprised.
And that's a Russian Federation team that is young, and a lot of new faces on that team, but they were impressive this morning en route to winning the gold medal.
They were, yes.
Aldanov, Makhnenko, I believe, and Popov.
Ladies and gentlemen, victory ceremony for the Recurve women's event.
We'll become more familiar with those names, I'm sure, as time goes by. And now we get set for the presentation of the medals in the women's individual competition. And 2 more medals coming up for Korea. The Far East, represented on the podium here in Salt Lake City, as Greg Easton gets set to hand out the medals, along with Jeff Robbins from the Utah Sports Commission. Utah actively seeking international sporting events and working hand in hand with the Easton Foundation in bringing Stage 3 to Salt Lake City, Utah, not just this year, but the next 2 years as well.
Yeah, I think they actually got a 4-year contract.
Oh, is it a 4-year contract?
That's what I'm hearing as a rumor. So this will be one of the stages on the way to Tokyo 2020, and that will be huge in that year before Tokyo, because that's when all the archers come out and make sure that they're ready for the Olympics.
It'll probably be the final stage.
It might be,
They usually
yes.
cut back and only have 3 stages in an Olympic year.
Very correct.
So Salt Lake City may be very pivotal for a lot of archers before Tokyo in 2012.
And we can see Choi Mi-sun's 500 Swiss francs.
It's a balancing act. You've got the check, you've got the medal, you've got the saltwater taffy. You need 3 hands.
You can buy a lot more saltwater taffy with that
Yes,
check.
you
So.
can. Tania Tang. A very successful week and weekend here in the city by the lake with the salt in it. We were talking about Utah and bringing international sporting events here. We're still seeing a lot of international athletic events as the result of the 2002 Winter Olympics being held in Salt Lake.
Good.
The Olympic Oval for ice skating, speed skating, located about, I would say, a half hour from our location here at the Easton Foundation Archery Center. And every year you'll see lots of the world's top skaters come in and compete, even a celebrity or 2. I remember when Stephen Colbert came in and did a piece on speed skating. Me, I'm not putting on that suit. I'm sorry, not going to do it.
Yeah. But here's our gold medal winner and our champion, Chang Hae-jin from Korea, edging out Tania Tang in a very good gold medal match and receiving her check for 2,000 Swiss francs, her saltwater taffy, and that gold medal.
Please stand for the national anthem of the Republic of Korea.
Proud moment for that young lady, and I'm always amused. It's always fun to watch everybody with their, like this, you know, taking their pictures, their cameras. This is on TV. It's online, and
Yes.
it could be recorded, but everybody wants to get their own.
Congratulations to our
You know, me, I'm putting down the camera. I'm just going to enjoy the moment.
Enjoy a moment through your
Yeah.
eyes, not through a screen. Yeah.
Exactly.
the traditional top of the step.
But to each his own.
And I mean, it is the age that we live in nowadays, but it is what it is, and we're gonna have to live with it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going back. Do you?
No.
No, I don't think so. Don't think so.
And using that check as a sunscreen, or sunshade, I should say. That was the women's medal ceremony. One more coming up, the men's medal ceremony.
And while we've got a moment, we'll recap the results from Compound yesterday in case you weren't with us. In the women's team competition, it was Korea winning the gold medal. The Netherlands got the silver, and the bronze went to the United States. In the men's compound team competition, it was Korea once again. A clean sweep for Korea. They got the gold in men's competition. Italy got the silver, and France got the bronze. In the mixed team, it was Colombia. Sarah Lopez, Daniel Munoz taking away the gold, defeating Linda Ochoa Anderson and Rodolfo Gonzalez of Mexico. They got the silver, and the bronze medal went to Korea, So Chae-won and Kim Jong-ho. In the compound women, Andrea Marcos upsetting Sarah Sonicson for the gold medal. Sarah Lopez walking away with the bronze. And in the men's compound competition, Mike Schlusser of the Netherlands with a big win that went down to the final arrow. And Stefan Hansen took the silver. Bridger Deaton of the United States put to the test, and he got the bronze medal. Well, Jeff Robbins on hand once again, and now joined by Tom Dielan, the Secretary General of World Archery, for the presentation, the final presentation of medals here on Recurve Sunday in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Chinese Taipei, Wei Cheng-hang.
Wei Cheng-hang will pick up 18 World Cup points along with his bronze medal.
And we're seeing the strength of Korea and Chinese Taipei, because the women's podium had Korea, Chinese Taipei, and Korea first through third. And now we're seeing Korea, Chinese Taipei on the men's podium. So both countries showing their strengths. Korea is kind of expected to, but Chinese Taipei making their statement and their stand with medals in the mixed team and the men's and women's divisions this afternoon.
Chinese Taipei, the upstart over the last couple of years, and then newer, I won't say the new kids on the block, but the newer kids on the block.
Well, it helps when you have Tania Tang on your team, because she is a very, very good shooter. And Wei Cheng-hang is a great shooter as well, winning that bronze medal over Marcus Almeida of Brazil, who is not an easy competitor to shoot against.
Nor is Kim Woo-jin, who had that gold medal in his hands. He could feel it, he could touch it, he could smell it, he could almost taste it. And then disaster strikes, a 7, and that opened the door for this gentleman, Im Dong-hyun, who shot a great shot on the in the shoot-off. Shot a 10, went to the shades, put the glasses on, all worked out.
I think it was a little bit of a factor. I had mentioned it before that he was standing in the shade looking out into the sun. So that might have been something that he needed to deal with and make a really good snap decision on that last shot to say, okay, my eyes were getting confused with all of the different lighting, and I just needed to put some consistency in that lighting and shoot that shot. And here we are with the national anthem.
He definitely saw the light. Don't know if anybody noticed, but if this camera pans over a little bit more, we may see that Kibo Bay is still here. I saw her just a moment ago
There she is at the bottom left screen.
Yeah, and there she is, still here. She was sick as a you-know-what
Really?
this morning. She was in not good shape.
I had heard that she was in medical earlier this morning from Doug Denton, so it was surprising that she was still on the field and they didn't throw in a ringer, but I don't think you can, by World Archery rules, throw in a ringer at this stage. I think everybody who shot the matches leading up to here, you have to stick with those people. But either way, that was great show from her and all of the other recurve shooters from today.
She toughed it out, and she stuck around to support her teammates. Well, our thanks to everybody involved this weekend and today. Our thanks to our sponsors, Hyundai, Fila, Sport Toto, Longines, Hoyt Bows, and Easton Arrows for all their great support of World Cup Archery. We congratulate all who medaled and all who came and competed here in Salt Lake City. Now, everybody packs their bags and heads home, and then eventually heads back to Europe for Stage 4 in Berlin. We'll reconvene in Germany in August for more live shot-by-shot coverage on Archery TV. For my great partner in crime, Crispin Duenas of Canada, and the World Archery Federation, the Easton Foundation, their volunteers, and everybody involved with the broadcast, I'm Carl Arke saying thanks for your time this time. Till next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good night from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Take care, everybody.
The Longines Watch will be presented by Tom Thielen, World Archery Secretary General. Winner of the men's recurve